All right, let's go ahead and go live then, I guess. Swoosh, swoosh. Hi, hello, I'm Ross. I will be your host for today's Finden play along game. I was kindly asked by HABA Games to, thank you very much, Bass, thank you, nice to see you, no pun included. Yeah, I was asked by HABA Games to do a little learn and play of this game. Slide me across a little bit more, get me out of the way. Yeah, I was asked to do a little learn and play of this, and any excuse to play a roll and write as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to give everyone a bit of time to get ready. So let's say I'm going to give about 10 minutes. I'll give about 10 minutes for people to get set up, get their sheets, all that kind of stuff. That's what this little countdown here is for, and then we'll start playing. I'll explain the rules before the countdown's finished, so, you know, if you've got a sheet ready and you're all good to go, then we'll just get cracking. But this is basically a roll and write game that has two different rule sets within it. I'm going to focus on the solo version of the puzzle mode rule set, because that is something that we can play together. If you can't print, you could just print screen, as no pun included suggested, and just draw over it in paint. That is a perfectly valid way to do it. You could save it on your phone and draw over it on your phone. That's another way you could do it, depending on how you're watching. If you're watching via your phone, then obviously that would be a challenge. But if you're watching via a desktop computer, then you can use that. Look at that, it's like a broke reality when my hand comes through on this top-down camera. If you're playing via your desktop computer or whatever, it's true. I am a challenge, and I'm a challenge that it has been formally accepted by my friends. And you're one of them, so thank you very much. It's a very straightforward game in how you play, but the challenge in this game really comes from the spatial puzzle. So as you can see here, there's lots of different colors. It's colorblind friendly, so every different color has its own little shape on it. But the idea here is we'll be using these different shapes to draw outlines on our grid to score points. I've not gone through the rules yet, so when it gets to about 5 minutes to go, that's when I'll start going through the rules. But for anyone who's just showing up, there's a little link in the top corner, or keep spamming it in the chat in case anybody needs the link to find the game sheet itself. That is where you'll find it, and that is, if you want to play along, that's what we'll be using today. Your game sheet will be different from my game board, but don't worry about that, because that's part of the fun. So you can't copy me and my master strategy whilst my brain is on fire, whilst I'm trying to do a live stream and solve a spatial puzzle game. So I predict I'm not going to do great. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if I'm capable of solving spatial puzzles whilst live on the internet. It'll be a bit of fun. If you're not going to play along, obviously this will be able to give you an idea of how the game works. Hey Tom, nice to see you. If you wanted to play along tonight, Tom, you can go ahead. I'll keep posting the link repeatedly. You can go ahead and grab the game sheet from that link, and you can either use your desktop computer and paint to draw onto it, or you could print it out and use it as a sheet and physically to draw on, and that is what we'll be using to play along. There's also a link in the top corner that has the the HABA website on, where you can find the game sheets yourself if you do want to take part. If you don't want to take part, you can just watch me try and figure this out. And I've watched a couple of the others. So I watched the HABA USA stream, and there was another one. Who was the person who streamed it originally? T. Who was that? Was that I've watched a couple of other streams of this, and everyone sneakily has had their game board off the screen. From Roll Dice and Take Names, yeah. So everyone else has had their game board off the screen, so you don't actively watch the person struggle to try and figure it out. Whereas I'm just laying it all out there in the open. You're gonna watch me do this in real time, or if you're working on it yourself, hopefully you're too busy to pay attention to me, so you can be, worrying about your own puzzle. When it gets to 5 minutes, I'm gonna explain the game itself. Nightbot will be spamming the link, every couple of minutes. But I've switched it so anyone can post links in the chat today. So, if anyone asks, hey, where's the game sheet? How can I access that? Anyone's able to just share that link. But now we're getting to about 5 minutes before. I'm going to explain the game and how it works. I hope everyone's doing well. So this is Finden, which is a roll and write game for 1 to 4 players. We're going to be playing, as I've said previously, kind of a solo version of the puzzle mode. So there's kind of like a standard variant, which you play with a timer and you play over 5 rounds. I'm not going to explain that because that's not what we're playing today, so I don't want you to get those rules mixed in with the rules we're doing. What we're going to be playing is we're going to be playing the puzzle variant, which plays over 12 rounds, because there's 12 shapes here. And what we'll be doing is each round, we'll be rolling these dice, and we'll be trying to find these colors and symbols on our board in one of these shapes. So I'll give you an example, I guess. Let's see if I can do it in real time. So here we go. So I've got an example here of one of the shapes, right? That is this shape up here. It's got the 2 yellow, it's got the 1 red, it's got the triangle kind of blue, and it's got this little flower dark blue color. I'll put a little 1 in there. In this puzzle variant, what that means is each round we're just going to draw 1 shape, right? We're just using 1 of them in a round. That's it. So I've done 1 in this particular round, this example round for anyone showing up late. Game's not started yet, don't worry about it. So what you'll be doing is each of the 12 rounds, you'll be trying to draw these symbols into one of these shapes. The trick with the puzzle version is you can only use each shape once. So if I was playing this on my own, I would just take that away, and then I would know I'd never be able to use that for the next 11 rounds. Because we're all playing together, you just need to keep track of which shapes you've used to ensure you don't use them again. You can only use them once in the whole entire game. The second kind of rule is you can't overlap previous shapes in the next round. This will stay on the board, but let's say in the next round I had another shape and I drew it. I wouldn't be able to overlap a previous shape. That's illegal. That's not allowed in Finden. So the idea behind this is you can't overlap a previous shape. You're going to have to be using a unique shape each round, and they've got numbers in them. These numbers denote how many points they're going to score you at the very end of the game. So these shapes are worth 4 each. 3, 2, 1. So I've lined them up so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you use that shape, that'll score you 1, 2, 3, or 4 points at the end of the round. We're trying to get as many points as possible. 30 is the maximum score you could possibly get. If there is a round and you are unable to place anywhere on the board, let's say for argument's sake the board's a lot fuller than it is, what you need to do is you need to choose a shape that you've not used yet, and you then draw that shape onto your board anywhere you want, and it doesn't matter what symbols are within it. So let's give you an example. Let's say I did this. Let's say I drew this 3 here and I drew it in the bottom corner, but it's a penalty. So I'll color it in. I don't lose points for that shape, but now I can no longer use this shape, even though I've not used it to gain points because I was unable to go. That would be why it's removed. I'm going to give you 2 minutes per round, I think. We'll see how we get on. I don't know, T, if you think 2.5 minutes. I don't know. You've already streamed it. What do you feel like a generous amount of time is? Thank you for gifting some subs there, T. That's very generous of you to do so. Much appreciated. So I'm going to reset the timer. I think around about maybe 2 minutes is good. All right, so I've just reset the timer. Let's stop it. That's all right. Don't worry about being in the checkout. That is much appreciated. So for anyone watching, what we're going to be playing is we're going to be playing 12 rounds. Each round, you have to use a different shape. You can only use each of these shapes one time in the whole 12 rounds. There are 12 shapes, so at best, you'll be able to use all 12 of those shapes, but it's likely you won't manage to do that because this game will get more difficult as your board fills up as you add more shapes to your board with outlines. Each round, I'm going to roll these dice like so, and these will be the shapes that have to be with the colors and the shapes on the dice that have to go within these outline shapes, these 5 square shapes. So I'll give you one more example. Example, this one's got, let's have a look. It's got 2 of these dark blue, a light blue, an orange, and a red. Come on, Ross, get your brain going. 2 dark blue, light blue, orange, red. Okay, so this would be an example of a shape I could draw with that. That'd be worth 3 points. So as you can see, it's got dark, dark, light, orange, red. It's got all of the things that you require. I'd be using this shape. I'll not be able to use that shape for the whole rest of the game now. Okay, and a question in the chat from Bass is, what happens when you can't find a shape that fits? What happens then is you take a penalty. You don't lose points for it, but you have to choose one of the shapes that you haven't used yet, and you have to add that to the board. It doesn't matter what symbols are within it. So I could use this one, this 4, for example, and I'll draw this down here, and I shade it in, and now I can't use that shape for the rest of the game, and I won't score any points for that, and it will block off some of my board. That's an example of how it goes. And again, we'll be playing 12 rounds. The points that these tiles are worth is shown on them. So, ideally, you want to kind of use these larger scoring ones if you can, because they're going to be where you get the lion's share of the points. But you also want to be careful about where you place your shapes, because you're going to be filling this board up as the game progresses. So maybe you want to try and keep things to the edge. Maybe you want to start from the middle and spread out. But part of it is you're going to have to be a little bit strategic about where you're placing things. Otherwise, you may struggle to go ahead and fill in all those shapes. I'm going to post the sheet one more time. If anyone's watching, let me know if you need another explanation. I'm happy to do so before we dive in. But in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to begin the game. So if you need to know how to play, do let me know now so we can make sure that you are happy with how the game works, and we can kind of get going and learn as we play to a certain extent. Don't worry about winning the game. Just kind of focus on learning how it works, learning some strategy. The game is available to buy now on that HABA USA website, I believe. T, I think is there like a Gen Con discount code at the minute for anyone who's interested? My job is not to sell you the game, but if you want to buy it at a cheaper price, you may as well buy it at a cheaper price. And I'll let T tell you all about that in the chat, HABA USA. But let me know if you're feeling good about beginning, and I think I'll give like another minute or 2 for people, and then we'll just get going. So feel free to give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to get going, or you just think, stop talking, Ross, I want to play a game. I've got a cold coffee to drink because I got distracted. All right. I will be rolling these dice in a minute, and again, we're playing 12 rounds. You can only use each shape once in the whole 12 rounds. You cannot cross over a pre-existing shape. You can't overlap shapes that are already on your board. You If you can't place a shape, what will happen is you will have to draw a shape that you haven't used and then cross it out as a penalty. But we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to it. I think if we just play a couple of rounds, people can throw questions in as we're going. So in the short term, the first round, what we're going to be doing is using one of these shapes that match all of the symbols. I haven't rolled yet, so let me just grab those dice and I'll let you know when we're going to start. I am going to roll the dice now. So this will be the dice we're using, but don't start until I get the timer going, because that's not fair on me. Timer's going to start. Get puzzling. Get puzzling. You got 2 minutes. So it has to contain these 2 yellow, this blue, this other blue, and this purple. 2 yellow. And you're looking at the shapes, and the shapes tell you how many points they score. So you want to look at them and be like, kind of want to get the big scoring ones. 2 yellow. I'm looking around the edges to see if there's anything on the edges, but got to be careful I don't run out of time thinking. And a purple. 2 yellow. Oh no, there's only 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Purple, blue. Might keep it simple to start with. Two yellow, the blue thing, and the purple. Yeah. All right, so I'll try not to distract you too much, but this is an example of a shape that can be drawn, and I can never use this particular shape again for the whole rest of the game now. It just has to make sure it's got all the symbols on the dice within that shape. But you've got 30 seconds to go. So if you're looking around, maybe you're trying to get the highest scoring points from the start. That's a valid strategy. You can still continue to look, but you're only drawing one shape each round. So don't draw more than one shape. If you've got, I've got a dry erase board, so if I find a different one, I could rub this out. But I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't wanna confuse myself. All right, that's time up. So I'll answer the questions now in the chat. So Jess says, good idea to add the point value in the shape. Will make math go a lot faster. Yes, so these all have the point value in them. You'll be adding them together at the end of the game, the ones you've used. But that is something we'll worry about a little bit later. Patricia has asked, can you change the shape before the time runs out? Yes. As long as, you have some way of erasing it, if you're using pencil or something along those lines. The official game comes with dry erase boards, so, if I draw anything on the board, then I can rub it out with my dry erase board. But, as long as you've got some way of erasing it, then you can obviously erase that and then add a new shape in, but it's just one shape per round. So now all of us only have 11 shapes we're allowed to use for the whole rest of the game, and that'll go less and less and less. There's going to be 12 rounds in total, so I should really, this is the part where you keep a note of how many rounds it is, Ross. And I will. I'm going to keep a little note on this. Just going to colour in blocks each round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to colour in blocks on a different board so I can keep a note. Are all the dice the same? Yeah, the dice have all got all 6 of the different shapes and colours on them. So 1 on each side. So when you roll them, that is, whatever you get on there, it's random, but you can only have a maximum of 2 of one particular color/shape on the dice faces. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get set up for the next round. If you've got any questions so far, let me know, and I will try and answer them. I'm going to roll these dice, but I would appreciate it if you didn't start until the timer starts. But I'm not going to, I can't do anything about it if you do. So we've got these here. I am going to start the timer now. Get going. Get drawing your shapes. This is round 2. All right, what have we got? Two light blue, a dark blue, purple, and a yellow. Yeah, thank you, T. But don't be distracting me while I'm trying to figure out this puzzle. Right. Light blue, dark blue. Purple, yellow. Light blue, dark blue, purple, yellow. This is T's suspiciously. I've only got 1 minute 20 left. I'm not going to talk to the chat. Come on, Ross. Light blue. That's an awkward position. And it's a shape I've used. Ugh. Two light blue, dark blue, purple, yellow. Not a big fan of it, but it's 4 points. That is awful. I'm going to keep looking. I've only got 30 seconds left. Explaining, hey, we're only in the we're in the second round, so I don't know. You could just play from that point onwards and then kind of give yourself like a little points boost or something, I guess. I've used that shape and I've used that shape. One thing I didn't say is you can rotate these shapes however you want. You can mirror them however you want. Sorry, I didn't make that clear earlier. Time is up, however. So from now on, if you weren't aware that was the case, that is something that I didn't state. That's my bad. That's not your fault. That's on me. You can rotate the shapes however you need to. You can mirror the shapes however you need to. So, you know, however you need to make them fit on your board, feel free to do so. I'm not too keen on this. I'm not happy about this because I'm starting to cut up my board a little bit, but all right. So T has said, with the dry erase copy, I like to make little dots whenever I find a shape to mark it, and then when I'm confident in one shape, I outline it and erase my dots. I've played this game a couple of times, but I've never played it live on the internet. And so I feel like I'm maybe not going to be playing, I'm not going to be the best I can be. For anyone who's joining right now, we are playing Finden. This is a brand new roll and write game from HABA Games. We are just entering the third round. If you want to join, you still can. You've missed a couple of rounds, so you won't be getting the full experience, but you'll get a good idea of how the game works. And you'll still be able to play the next, 9 rounds with us, 10 rounds with us, rather. So you'd get a good flavor for the game to see if you enjoy it. So if that's something that you're curious about, I'll give you like another minute to go and grab the sheet. You can either copy it and put it in Paint on your computer and draw on it. You can draw on it on your phone, or you can print it out if you've got time and then draw on that. I'm going to be going ahead. I didn't mention you can print it in black and white, but I did mention it was colorblind friendly. So you can, if you want to save your color ink. So in the game, there's different boards. These are all unique on the white side, but there is a gray side which are all identical. So if you all want to play with the same board, you can play on the gray side. If you play on the white side, they're all unique. So, you know, depends how you want to play. I like the idea of unique. Bass says, why don't you place the tiles on your board? Well, for one, generally speaking, you'll be sharing these tiles because you can play up to 4 people. So you'd be playing with other people. If you're playing on your own, I suppose, for argument's sake, you could maybe put the tiles on there. But, you know, this is a multiplayer game, so it plays 1 to 4 people. So if you're playing with lots of people, if you're taking the tiles away, they can't see them anymore. So that would be a reason why you wouldn't do so. And the idea is you're outlining things on your player board. It's a wipeable player board. And you might knock your tiles, which again, might be a bit awkward. We are going to go into round 3 now. Again, You can't use any shapes you've already used. You can't overline your previous shapes. You can't go over the outline of a previous existing shape. So each shape we're going to be drawing across these rounds has got to be unique. If you're unable to draw a shape, you've got to pick one of the ones you haven't used, draw it in, don't matter about the symbols, draw it into your board, and then cross it out, because that's a penalty. But we'll get to that when it comes up, so ask me if you can't go anywhere, and I'll explain that again if you like. But let's go ahead. I'm going to roll these dice for the next round. The game comes with dry erase boards. It comes with wipeable boards. All that jazz. All right, new round. Get working, fans. Get fans? People. Yeah. All right. Let's look. Blue, orange, purple. Oh, yeah. Seen something. It's in a dream spot. 2 light blue, orange, red, purple, right in that bottom corner. Yes! In your face, everyone. I'm going to win this one. Yeah, we'll see. It's early days yet. Finally, I've managed to place a tile in an appropriate location, which I like, right in the corner. But as T said in the chat, yeah, so I'm playing with a physical copy of the game. HABA Games sent me it so I could obviously be able to show you it. Comes with, 4 dry erase boards, 4, pens with little erasers on them. Comes with a little sand timer. Haven't explained the regular mode of the game because I don't want to confuse the rules of this. But we're playing over 12 rounds. This is the 3rd round, I believe, because I've got 3 shapes. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Tom said, I've got all 3 4s placed, but I may regret that later. That's the thing, that's 12 points. That's already a really good score. I've seen people in previous games getting 20 something points. If you get into the 20s, that's a really strong score. 30 is the maximum, bear in mind. But depending on where you've placed things, you might be in trouble. Got 9 seconds, 8, 7, 6, 5. Running out of time, folks. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay. How's everyone doing at the minute? Does everyone feel good? Do you all still feel confident about what's happening? Again, you can't go over previous shapes. You can't go over the outline of a previous shape. You can only use each shape once in the whole entire game. So if you've used shapes, you can't use them again. This is for ages 7+. So, as T has pointed out, all ages can play this. The puzzle version is actually a bit more difficult than the regular version. But I'll kind of cover that a little bit later because I don't want to detract from the game. Irrational Robot, if you still want to join in, you'll be joining in round 4, but you'll still be able to play 8 out of the 12 rounds, and you'll still be able to get a good idea of how the game works if that's what you want to do. So if you want me to give you a minute, let me know. T, if you don't mind posting a link to the sheet, that would be really useful in the chat. I'm all caught up, was playing in the HABA chat. Oh, okay. All right, so you just didn't see the chat that was going on. Okay, that's fine. Glad to hear that you haven't missed out. All right, so this is round 4. I'm going to roll these dice again, and then we're going to start the timer, and then we're going to continue. Does everyone feel good at the minute? You getting worried yet about being able to fit your shapes in, or are you still... You're feeling that early confidence where you're like, this is easy. Don't know what you're talking about, Ross. I could draw shapes all day in this grid. All right, T's just sending the HABA chat this way so they can join in on the conversation. All right. Nice new green screen. It's a sheet. It's a sheet of blue cloth that I own, and it's stuck to my wall. But it sure does look fancy if you don't know what's going on. So yeah, everyone who's playing in the chat, everyone who's got the downloadable sheets, they're all They're all the same, but for me, my board is different. And as T says, the boards in the game are with the white side, they're all unique, and then they've got a grey side, which are all the same. There's 4 boards, because it's up to 4 players. 4 little, dry erase markers, wipeable boards. Get a little sand timer, you get some dice, etc., etc., etc. All right, I'm going to roll the dice, and then we're going to go for round 4, yeah? I've not rolled the dice yet, have I? So I'm going to do that. Let's all be ready. Dice rolling. Let's go. All right. Here we go. There's your dice. Time starts now. Go. Right. I have to remember what shapes I've used already because you can't use the same shape more than once. My goal is to try and keep things to the edge, but whether or not I'm able to do that is, to be seen. TBC. Purple, blue, light blue. I think I can do that. I'll draw it in for a minute. I'll come back to it if needs be. Draw it in for now, but I'll see if I can find something better. Maybe that one's better. Really should be working on these higher scoring tiles. 50 seconds left, folks. 50 seconds to go. I'm going for all the easy ones at the minute, but it's gonna backfire on me. I know it. Just keeping to the edges. 30 seconds, everyone. 30 seconds to go. Two purple, a yellow. What's that? 10 seconds left. Yellow. Nope, can't do that. I'm just gonna leave it. Leave it, Ross. Don't mess with what you've got. Sticking to the edges. Time's up, everyone. Time is up. Do not continue. So one thing I haven't mentioned is we're playing the puzzle version, and the game comes with this little board. And if you were playing the puzzle version with 4 other people, what you would be doing is each time you finished first, you picked a shape first, is you would flip the timer and everyone else would just have that amount of time left. And you'd score 2 points for doing that shape first. But because we're playing online, we're playing like the solo version of it. So that you don't have the timer there and you don't have the additional bonus points. But it's worthwhile knowing if you play with, 4 people, you would all have these little boards. You would all mark off what shapes you'd used on there. You'd all mark off who did first each time, etc., etc. Okay, so that was the 4th round complete. We're going to move into the 5th round. Again, you can't overlap pre-existing shapes. You can't use shapes you've already used. Each shape that you draw has to contain the symbols within the outline of that shape on your board. If you can't go at any point, if you're unable to go, you have to just choose a shape you haven't used yet, draw it into your board. It doesn't matter what symbols are within it. So I'll just give you an example like this. And then you color it in like this as a penalty. So that would mean that now on, I wouldn't be able to use this shape anymore, even though I hadn't used it previously. That is now gone out of the game. And that would be what happened if you can't go, which is going to happen later in the game, to all of us. It's going to be very difficult to use all 12 shapes. Momentous says that turn was ugly for me. You're still in it. You never know what's going to happen with the dice. Sometimes things are going to just go your way. But dice are fickle. We're going to find out. I'm going to roll them again. We're going to be starting round 5. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to fire them in the chat. I'm going to be attempting to play and answer any questions. If anyone shows up late, just tell me if you want to know how the game works, and I'll explain it as we play. But for everyone else, let's keep the game going because we are 35 minutes past the hour. All right, here you go. New stuff. And I'm going to start the timer, but you can just go ahead and start whenever you want. All right, time has begun. Off you go, 2 minutes. Two light blue, 2 yellow, and a purple. 2 light blue, 2 yellow, and a purple. 2 light blue, 2 yellow, and a purple. 2 pairs, it's rough. That is rough. That is... Oh. 2 pairs is tricky. It would have been... Oh. Could have been perfect, but I've already taken some of the spaces away that would have worked for me. 2 light blue. Huh. Actually worried now. Got a minute to go, everyone. You like blue? Oh, okay. I think I've found one. 30 seconds to go, everyone. 2 light blue, 2 light blue, 2 yellow, and a purple. 2 light blue. You could, for argument's sake, choose not to place anything. 15 seconds to go. You could choose to not place anything. Good evening, by the way. Aquasulis, nice for you to join us. I'll explain the game in just a second. But you could choose not to place something if you wanted to. Time's up, everyone. Time is up. If anyone hasn't been able to place, if you've not found anywhere to place your symbol, what you need to do is choose a shape that you haven't already used, ignore these symbols, and then draw it anywhere in the board, but then fill it in. Fill it in with color, because that means that's a penalty for not being able to place anything. That was a rough round. That was a rough round. 2 pairs is tough. That is real nasty. For anyone who's joining, I can see new people are showing up. We are getting into about halfway through Finden, which is a new roll and write game from HABA Games. If you want to play along, there is a game sheet. You will be joining us halfway through a game. However, you can still play 6 of the rounds and get a flavor for the game and see if you like it, see what you think about it. The way the game works is this is a solo version of puzzle mode in this particular game, or a puzzle variant. And each round we have to draw a unique shape. We can't repeat shapes. I was saying that, Patricia, that 12 points was a high score, kind of at that point. And also, 30 is the maximum you can score. So having 12 points after 3 rounds, that's a good score to start with. But obviously, it remains to be seen what you'll do the rest of the game. So sorry if I confused you a little bit. 12 isn't like a good final score. But to have 12 points and, 30 is the maximum you can get, getting 12 points that early in the game means that you might be able to get some good points later on. If that makes more sense, Patricia. The number on the placement tiles was a random choice. That's a good question, T. Do you know the number on the tiles? Is that mathematical anyway, or is that what is that based upon? Why the tiles are scored certain ways? That's all right, Patricia. Don't worry about it. What I would say is, I've seen in previous games people getting 15, 16 points as a final score, though. So 12 points after 3 rounds. That's a really strong score. Currently, I am nowhere. I'm not at 12 points, so I've not got there yet with 2 more rounds on top. We're going into round 6, though, so let me go ahead. Roll these dice again, and let's get us ready to go into the next round. This is only going to get harder, so, if you're beginning to feel like you don't have enough time, let me know, and I'll think about extending it by 30 seconds, but maybe I'll do that for maybe the last 3 rounds or something along those lines. All right, let's go ahead and roll these dice and let's get going in round 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, round 6. All right. Oh my God, it's 2 pairs again. Is it the same 2 pairs? This is a disaster. Time starts. Best of luck. It's very similar to what we just had. 2 yellow, 2 light blue. The red's different, but oof, that is rough. That is rough. I can see a shape, but I've already used it. Ugh. Two light blue, 2 yellow, and a red. Oh boy. This is rough. I'm struggling here, I'll be honest. 1 minute to go, everyone. Bad rolling, Ross. I mean, it's my fault. I rolled the dice. I can only blame myself. 2 light blue, 2 yellow, and a red. 2 light blue, 2 yellow, and a red. Where are you? Don't think I can do it. Two pairs again. I'm sorry, Jess. It's on me. 30 seconds remain. I don't think I can do it. I think I'm going to have to fill in a shape that I've not been able to use. That is rough. Because there is somewhere I can go, but I've used this shape already. Ugh. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left, sorry. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. If you're as bad as me and you can't go anywhere, what you're going to have to do is pick a shape that you haven't used yet, draw it in anywhere on your board, color it in, and you can no longer use that shape. That is a penalty for not being able to go. That's what I'm going to have to do. That's what I'm going to have to do. Let me think about it, though. I'm real sad about that. That is so early. That was so early. My mum's going to be so disappointed in me. What am I going to forfeit is the question. What do I feel like forfeiting? I don't want to forfeit any of them, if I'm being honest. But that's not how the game works. Inevitably, whatever I do is going to backfire. We know this. Oh my God. I'm going to... don't want... T, is there any way that, like, as the host, I don't have to do it? I could just skip getting rid of one? Is that like, can we make an arrangement? Can we just make like a secret arrangement between me and you that I don't have to do the forfeit? Because it's so painful. All right, here we go. So what happens is I'm drawing the shape in that I haven't used already, and I color it in. So that is what happens if you can't go. You shade in that shape. Mentus also couldn't place, or Mentus so. So that is an example of what happens when you can't place. It doesn't mean, though, doesn't mean that you're out of the game by any chance. It just means that you've had to lose an additional shape and you've not gained any points benefit from it. So let's go ahead and roll the dice, get us ready for the next round. We're all learning from your mistake. Well, that's very kind. That's exactly why I did it. That's why I did it. You don't lose any points, Irrational Robot, all you do is you just can't use that shape anymore. You just don't get any points for it, but it's not a negative point thing. But yeah, I strictly did that as a learning example for everyone in the chat so they could see, the full range of the game. That won't be happening again. Don't you worry about it. From now on, shapes everywhere. It's a redemption story. Okay, I'm going to roll these dice and then start us on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th round. Whoop, here we go. Some more yellows, though. A lot of yellows today. Throwing shapes all over the place. All right, time starts now, everyone. Get going. You got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. We got 2 yellows again. Yellows keep coming up all the time. Yellow, yellow, dark blue, light blue, red. Use that shape. Oh. Look in that corner, maybe? Maybe use that one? Draw that for now, just so I can have a little look and scope around, see what else we got. Red. 2 yellow, light blue, dark blue, red. Oh, seeing something better. Got an upgrade. And in a better location, you got 45 seconds, folks. That's good. I've used a little cross, the little crisscross. I was hoping you'd see that top left. Well, I'm glad you're rooting for me. I'm glad you're rooting for me. I got there. I managed it. 30 seconds remain. I played this earlier without the timer offline. I played it yesterday and I've played it earlier today. And I was like, I feel really confident. I think I'm going to do really well on the stream. And it wasn't until much later in the game, 10 seconds left, that I wasn't able to put a shape in. But you just don't know what the dice are going to do. And you don't know what you've going to previously placed. So it's one of those things that it's hard to say. Time's up, everyone. Whilst I'm hopefully not distracting you too much. That was round 7. Was everyone able to place? And if you weren't, remember that you if you can't place a shape, what you need to do, if you have more than 2 of okay, so if you can't place, what you do is you're gonna use a shape you haven't used already, draw it into the board like I did here, and then shade it in. And the question in the chat is, what happens if you get more than 2 of a color on the dice? You just re-roll them. So if there's more than 2 of a color, you re-roll until there's not more than 2 of a color. That's how it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be round 8. Hopefully everyone's still feeling good for the amount of time you've got in the game, because we've only got 10 minutes left, actually, so we're going to have to get moving. I've been talking too much. So let's go ahead and roll and then start. Couldn't place that one. Okay, kids playing in. Then what you need to do is just use a shape you haven't used and fill it in. Here's an example. I've rolled 3 purple. Can't use that, have to re-roll. All right, here we go. New round. Boop, off we go. Time starts now. Go. Yellow, red, dark blue, purple, light blue. Everything except yellow. Sorry, Tom, there's a yellow right there. No orange, though. Not a lot of orange coming out today. Shapes do I still have? One minute 30, everyone. Purple, red, light. No orange. Red. Light, dark blue, purple, yellow. That seems alright. red, light, dark, purple, yellow. 3. All right, a minute left. Managed to get another good shape in. I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy with it. If anyone's showing up in the chat and they're watching and they don't know how the game works, I'm happy to explain it whilst I'm managing to do all right at the game. I'm doing all right. But this is a new roll and write game. We're playing the puzzle version. I don't know what the official name is for this particular game variant. Yeah, it's called the puzzle version. We're playing the puzzle version. We're playing a solo version of the puzzle variant. This game's 1 to 4 players. There's 2 different versions of the game, but we're playing one that will work on a stream. 15 seconds remain, everyone. But I'm going to start moving through these rounds faster because we're actually running out of time on the stream. So I'm going to be speeding it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. All right, if you weren't able to place, take one of the shapes that you haven't used already, draw it anywhere you want in the board. It doesn't matter what the symbols are underneath it, and then color it in. I'm going to roll these dice, and we're going to move on to the next round, round 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. Wouldn't like to be me for the last few rounds. Lucky that it's not you. I'll go ahead and explain that Aquasulis in just a bit, but I've got to keep the game moving so we don't run out of time based on the time scales I gave myself. All right, time starts now. Go. Right, what have we got? What shapes have I got? A T. Dark blue, light blue. Purple. Dark blue. Dark blue. Use that shape. Ugh. What's that? Purple, red, light blue, dark blue. Orange. Purple, red. That's not it. Dark blue, red, purple, orange, light blue. Use that shape? I think I've used that shape, yeah. Minute to go. Oh, all these shapes I've used already. What shapes have I got? That. I can do that. What's that? That's another 2-pointer. Dark blue, purple, light blue, red, orange. 20 seconds to go, everyone. So the difference, Aquasulis, between 10 seconds between the puzzle version and the regular version is the puzzle version works like this. The regular version is 5 rounds. Each round you can draw up to 5 shapes, score those 5 shapes, and then you erase your board, and then you go again. When someone's managed to draw 5 shapes, or they decide that they can't find any more, they flip a timer, and then everyone else only has 30 seconds left to go and get as much as they can in that time frame. Okay, we're going to move on, though. We're going to move on to round 10. 3 rounds to go. Let's get the dice rolled, and then let's get the starter going. That's too many of the same symbols, so I've got to re-roll. Here we go. Get the starter going, but you just feel free to start whenever you see them. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 2 orange, a red, purple. You say it's perfect. Doesn't feel perfect, T. Doesn't feel perfect. What shapes have I got? I want to do a straight line. I want a straight line. Or a T. Or a T. 2 orange. Red, blue, 2 orange, 2 orange. Purple, blue, red. Purple, blue, red. Stop saying, everyone stop saying it's perfect. It's not perfect. 2 orange. Purple. Need a purple though. Nope. 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 Dark blue, red, orange, purple. I did it, but I'm not happy about what space I've got left. Not happy about the space I've got left. 20 seconds to go. If I start struggling to find shapes, I find it helps to rotate my board 90 degrees. That is an excellent tip. Sometimes when you play spatial games, just having a fresh, it's like playing a word scramble and shuffling it. Okay, we've got 5 seconds to go, folks. And then we've got 2 rounds remaining. I'm going to roll these dice. If you can't place, remember, if you couldn't place anywhere, what you need to do is choose a pre-existing shape that you haven't used, draw it anywhere on the board, doesn't matter the symbols underneath, and color it in. I'm going to roll these for the penultimate round, round 11. Time will be starting now. 2 orange, yellow, red, dark blue. 2 orange, yellow, red, dark blue. All right. Oh, I'm doing all right at the minute. I'm doing all right. I'm disappointed that I didn't get to use one of the shapes earlier, but I've got 1 shape left, and so far I've only not been able to place 1 time. HABA USA says, yes, perfect roll to get the T in a very... I mean, like, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I've rolled that especially for you, HABA. That was just for you. That's amazing, says Patricia CC. I hope everyone is enjoying the rolls that I'm doing here. I'm a crowd pleaser with the way I roll these dice. I can't help it. We've still got 40 seconds left, and then we're into the final round. This is obviously, we'll only have 1 shape left that we can use in this final round. So this will be a big round for all of us. Big round for all of us. I am terrified because I just need a straight long line of all of the same stuff. 15 seconds to go. And we'll actually finish the stream about on time. All right. 2, 1, time up. If you couldn't place, what you need to do is you need to draw that shape into your board, color it in as a penalty. You don't lose points for it, but you can't use that shape for the rest of the game. I'm going to roll these dice and see what happens. That is not the roll I was hoping for, I don't think, but we'll start the timer, see what we've got. First penalty for Tom. Had to happen sooner or later. 2 purple. I don't think I can do it. I already know I can't do it. That's it, the final, disappointing final turn for me. Disappointing final turn, unable to place. Kids playing in, like, I think with this particular one, it's time pressured as well, which doesn't help, so it's a bit more stressful. Not everyone operates as well under the time stress. Also, I think it's sometimes just practice. Like, you know, if you play these games like a bunch of times, you start to see patterns. Tom has redeemed a shout. How about USA? How about USA? 1 minute to go, folks. 1 minute to go. And I'll only have completed the game 1 minute. 1 minute late. That's almost like I know what I'm doing. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. I couldn't place my last shape, so I'll just draw it wherever. I'll draw it here. Color it in. And that is my last shape. If you were playing this, you know, with the official game, you get a little player board and you can cross them out as you do them. That's how I've been keeping track of the different shapes I've used. I've been crossing them out on my little player board. I would write my name in here. If you were playing 4-player, everyone could do the same. And in the, you know, if you're playing multiplayer, what you do is when someone draws the shape, then they flip a timer and everyone else has got 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go ahead and complete. We've got 10 seconds left though for everyone else watching. 3, 2, 1. Boom. That's time up. That is the end of the game. So now you got to calculate your score. So what you'll be doing is you'll be adding up the points in the shapes that you've used, and that total will equal your score total. We'll compare scores, see how everyone did. So I've got 3, 4. A good way to work it out is you can just work out the points of the shapes that you couldn't fit. So that one's 4 and that one's 2 for me. So I know I lost 6 points. So I got 24 in total. Yeah, irrational robot, exactly. That's the best way to work it out, is look at the shapes you couldn't draw and then be like, that one's worth 4 points, that one's worth 2 points. I got 24, so irrational robot, 26 points. Tom Bosch has got 29 points. It can only not place 1. That is an incredible score. 25 for Bass. This is some really high scores here. I've seen games where people have had 20, like have had 16, had 15, you know, and they're like reasonable scores, but it depends on the dice and it depends what you've done. Tom has got an outrageous score in this game of 29. That's almost perfect. Explaining on 20, and I've seen plenty of games where 20 would put you at the top. But in this particular game, you've got Tom in the chat who has played an outrageous game. Thank you for those of you who've stopped by. My name's Ross. I run a channel called More Games Please. If you like solo board games, that's what I stream on Mondays and Wednesdays. Just have to remember there for a second. At 7 p.m. UK time, which is an hour earlier than the start time today. So basically 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. And yeah, Tom, get in touch with HABA USA. Seems like you've won yourself a prize there, sir. Seems like you won yourself a prize. For anyone else who's watching, if you go on the HABA USA website and use GenCon 2020 as an offer code, you can get 10% off the store at the minute, I believe. And yeah, thanks for joining me, folks. I'm gonna go watch a movie now. But I hope you appreciated the stream. I have had a lovely time. Not stressful at all, trying to work this out and while you're watching me. And I hope you've enjoyed your Gen Con and all of the other streams if you've been watching it as it's been going on. Thanks everyone for popping by. If you want to continue to watch what I do, give me a follow. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your time, the rest of your day, the rest of the week. I will be streaming again tomorrow for my 100th stream. But until then, I'll catch you all later. Thank you very much.